Good morning and welcome to episode 2 of The Man, the Myth, the Legend, Don't Tell Your Mother. Good morning, Giovanni Londero. How are you this morning?
I'm well, thank you, Callie Londero.
Shall we get into it?
We shall, yes.
Okay.
That's good.
Tea or coffee?
Oh, coffee. I can't drink tea. Tea makes me vomit. If I drink tea, it'll come straight away. There's something in it that my body won't tolerate.
How do we not know these things? What are your hobbies,
Oh,
passions?
music is a big one. I really love music, and I had the pleasure of playing a bit of music with different people, which was really good. Woodwork has been a sort of a theme throughout my life, making furniture and restoring bits and pieces, and general work around the house.
The smell of fresh wood chips is very nostalgic for me because we always had a big shed and a big saw bench, and growing up all we saw was you making a lot of amazing things and restoration work. So that's a very special memory for me.
Yeah.
And not so special memory was when I put my fingers in the router, and I think you were going to plug it in, and just at the last second you went, I better look. And the emergency button was actually not off either. So if you'd plugged it in, I probably would have lost all my fingers. So thank you for checking that day.
You're welcome. Safety first.
What is your favourite meal?
That varies from time to time. At the moment, I'm really liking butter chicken.
And a garlic naan?
Yes. Actually, there's some in the fridge. There's garlic naan and butter chicken in the fridge, ready to go. It's varied. Sometimes it was lasagna, and other times it was pasta, different kinds of pasta. I love steak, of course. You can't beat a lovely steak. Not real keen on fruits. A lot of fruits I can't eat. They sort of disagree with me. I love vegetables, all the vegetables except cauliflower.
What was your favourite dish that your dad used to make?
He used to do this chicken pasta that was just great. He was good at all the Italian meals.
And was there a favourite dish that your mother used to cook?
I used to love her pork chops. So they were great. Gravy and mashed potato and veggies.
And while we're on the same theme, was there a dish that your grandmother used to make?
She used to cook these things they called chicken wings out at Burke, but they weren't really chicken wings. They were some sort of meat that was formed around a stick to look like or chicken legs, they might have been called, look like a chicken leg, and they were quite nice. Most of her stuff in this really old baking dish. That was always, everything was cooked on the wood fire, and everything just tasted amazing, cooked over a proper fire.
That's so lovely. What colour toothbrush do you tend to buy, and do you get soft, medium or hard?
Colour doesn't really matter to me, but I always have a soft toothbrush now because my gums and that are not much good anymore with the chemo. So
Why do you chew your nails?
I don't chew my nails.
You used to chew your nails.
I used to. I don't know why, but I stopped many years ago. Maybe it was a anxiousness or something like that. I've got no idea.
I still remember chipping you when I was younger. Why have you got a nail in your mouth? Do you have any tattoos?
I do, yes. I have a tattoo of a parrot on my right arm.
And what was your pain tolerance on that?
It took a little over an hour and a half, and at the end of it, it was starting to get pretty. The pain was getting pretty bad.
Tell me some of your nicknames that you've had over the years.
Out at Burke, everyone called me Bon. I don't know why. I guess it came from Londero and Bondero and stuff like that, so they call me Bon. My motorcycle friends, when I was in my early 20s, called me Mr. Clean.
I would like a bit of an explanation on that. What is the real reason they called you Mr. Clean?
Because I used to shower and wash and bathe and and wear clothes that were washed instead of like being a grot. No, that's why they call me Mr. Clean. That's the only reason, because I was clean.
They call people that because they clean up the bodies, Dad.
Oh, no, it wasn't that.
And there's also a drug reference one as why they call people Mr. Clean too. Yes. What was your wildest experience on drugs?
Ah,
Please feel free to tell more than one story.
well, the main one I remember was a time that a friend of mine and I went to Luna Park, and I dropped a tab of acid on the way back from Luna Park. We dropped it before we went, and it started to come on while we were coming home. And we were on the ferry, and looking up at the harbour bridge was just like geometric patterns. The harbour bridge was just a geometric pattern that went on and on up into the sky like forever. And then we got to a circular quay, and they had this white terrazzo floor with a gold fleck, and the gold fleck was like gold knee-high grass waving um, as we walked through it. And I said to the friend of mine, I said, "Wow, that's amazing. Why do they make floors like this?" You know, and there were two policemen up the other end of the up, up the other end of the room, and he said, "Oh, they make it like this so the cops can catch people that are tripping." And I freaked right out. And then we got on the double-decker bus to go home and out to Bondi Junction, and it was like a red line. I look out the back window, and there was a red line following the bus wherever we went. The bus was making a funny noise, and yeah, so that was a bit of a spin out that night.
Sounds like your mate got you good there. In what ways are you stubborn?
In every way, I'm stubborn. Yes, that's probably my middle name.
What is the craziest situation you have found yourself in riding a motorcycle?
Probably the wildest thing was Fegs and Clado and I went for a ride up the north coast, and Fegs had just bought his Laverda, so he was running it in. We weren't doing over 100k. On the way up, we left Sydney, and we hadn't even got out of Sydney, and we were pulled up by the police, and we were searched. Everything was taken off our bikes, and everything was uh, inspected and that. So after about an hour doing that, we got on the road again, and we got up to Maitland. Was it Maitland? Somewhere near Maitland. We pulled up outside a burger shop to get some lunch, and another cop car pulled up behind us and ordered us out of town. This is, we don't want your type here in this town, and off you go. So we got on the road, and anyway, so we camped overnight, and then the next day we were coming back, pottering along, and next thing you know, this highway patrol charger's locked up sideways beside us, and this big old copper, big fat bald copper was in this car. Anyway, he ordered us off to the side of the road, we just pulled up, and he jumped out of his car and said, "You park your bike there, like 10 metres up that way, and you park your bike there." And he had his hand on his gun the whole time, and
Yikes.
anyway, and one of the Figs or Clado said, "Oh, what's going on? What's going on? You shut up and don't talk." And we said, "Well, we weren't doing anything." And he said, "Yeah, you bloody overtook over double yellow lines." Well, this part of the highway had a cement medium strip, so there was no way we could have. There was no double yellow lines. The cement strip was the delineating mark between the two lanes of traffic, and so we couldn't have overtaken anyway. So we said, "Well, we weren't. Look at this." And he pulled his gun out and he said, "I'll bloody arrest you," and you keep back chatting them. And so we were all booked for overtaking over a double yellow line. That was pretty wild. It was pretty frightening, actually.
Jesus. Oh my God. Can you, as a second story, not anywhere near as crazy, but tell us about the barrel brakes, is it? The brakes that used to overheat on the bikes and you were coming Lithgow way?
Drum brakes.
Yeah, drum brakes, that's it.
Drum brakes. Yeah, I was with Bobby Arnold on his Honda 450, and it was a older model, 68 model or something like that, had drum brakes front and back. And we were going down the Bells Line Road out of Lithgow, where there's lots of corners and steep downhill run, and we just run out of brakes. They stopped working, and we made out. Well, we sort of crashed into an embankment. Well, it wasn't a crash, but it was like a planned crash. It was either go there or get faster and faster going down the hill and perhaps run into a car or something. So yeah, like an emergency stop. Yeah,
An emergency crash into bushes instead of.
yeah. But that was the trouble with drum brakes. If you use them, then they'd heat up and they'd fade and it wouldn't work.
That's so dangerous.
It's a technology. Technology.
Have you ever been arrested, gone to lockup, or received a ticket?
Yes, and yes. When I was young and had the motorbike was my only form of travel, I think I supported the New South Wales Police Department on fines and tickets paid there, and got to the stage where I got a letter from the Roads and Traffic and saying I was a menace to the public and I only had 1 point left on my licence.
Did you manage to keep your license, or did you
Yes,
lose the
I did.
last point?
No, I didn't lose the last point. I was a very good boy.
And was it just
Well, actually, my motorcycle broke down and it was in the shop for like
until the
waiting for parts
renewal?
for 12 months or more. So,
And do you think that it was because it was the motorcycle itself? Was that the big issue?
I think there was a bit of both. Like motorcycles attract police like, honey attracts flies. I was a bit heavy with the throttle.
Do you have a nemesis?
Well, I do at the moment. Disease, I've got the cancer. That's my nemesis now.
Yeah.
But previously, not really.
Who was one of your role models and why?
My role models, well, especially early in life, were authors that wrote books, because I was really into books when I was young. And then sort of later on it changed, like there were people in bands. And
What is your favourite way to unwind after a hard day?
after a hard day, I could probably just get lost in internet land and TikTok or something like that.
Bit of a good doom scroll?
Yeah, good doom scroll is probably a good way I relax. I'm working a late shift, so I come home and just go to bed. That's a good way to relax, go to sleep.
Nice. Why do you think all of your right-handed children are blind?
Look, I don't know. Everybody that's left-handed doesn't wear glasses, and even though I'm left-handed, I wear glasses. I'm blind, but all my right-handed children, perhaps there's the genetic marker. Well, there would be a genetic marker or a genetic code that reinforces this.
Well, that wraps up another session. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Shishi. Shishi.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Soph.
That one was really quick.
That was really
It
quick.
was so quick.